Hey y'all, you're listening to Diagnosing Sitcoms and Movies, the DSM podcast. We help make mental health more comfortable by using Black movies and shows we know and love and culture to remove stigma. So join our convo with your host, Courtney Copeland, licensed mental health counselor,
and Dr. B, licensed professional counselor. Do you know what today is? What? It's our anniversary. Anniversary. Hey. It's been one whole year.
A whole year, girl.
Oh my gosh. How many movies has it been? We probably should have counted before we decided to have this conversation.
20 something.
So how I figured we at least try to drop 2 movies a month.
Mm-hmm.
So probably about 24, 25-ish, 27. 28.
But then we took break in December.
We did not, because we still put out Best Man Holiday.
But wasn't that just the one that we put out that month?
Facts.
I don't know. This is neither here nor there. The most exciting thing is that it's our anniversary. Thank you guys for listening to us for a whole year, being goofy and, talking mental health stuff. And we appreciate all of y'all who have been here since day one and the people who just joined today. We love all of y'all. Thank you.
Yes. Also, thank you so much for the 3,000 downloads. It's probably more than that by now, but yes. What in the butt?
Wow. I didn't think you were going there, but okay.
You don't remember that song? What in the butt?
No, I do.
Anywho.
I still reference it from time to time.
Right, when you get excited.
Okay. Well, with it being 1 year, I guess we'll jump right into the movie that we are doing today. So today we will be talking about the 1997 Southern Gothic drama film.
Southern
directed. Gothic. Yeah, that was the category. It felt very deep. I was like, ooh, okay. Right, set you in the mood. Dun, dun, dun.
Who this joint directed by?
Written and directed by Cassie Lemons, a wonderful Black woman who has done great things since then. Boo to Hollywood for taking so long with getting on her bandwagon. But now that they finally are, she's been doing a whole lot more. She's awesome. She's great. You guys should Google her. And if you don't know who she is, but we are going to be talking about Eve's Bayou.
In the bayou, going down the bayou.
The bayou.
Down the bayou.
And so I don't know if I was scared of this movie when I was a kid, but I definitely thought it was weird. I was like, this is a weird movie.
Absolutely. So this was 1997. I was 7, 8. And so I vividly remember watching it and getting some type of feeling. It made me feel uncomfortable. I don't know if it was that I was scared. I was uncomfortable. And it was the witch with the white face.
Why did they put...
But she was so beautiful.
I was about to say, you want to take one of the finest women in the world
and
cover her in clay?
Okay. But what I also gathered from watching it this time around is that I think I kind of low-key want to become one. I'm going to become a
girl, witch. You too?
You too? Yes. Okay, let's do it. All right. Oh my God. I got a book that's called The Green Witch. And I'm a become the Green Witch with the herbs and the oils and the crystals. That's me.
Okay, so my whole thing is that I don't want to go to hell though, and I still love Jesus. Can you be a witch and still love Jesus?
Yes, you can.
Yes, okay.
Listen, there's demons, okay, and that you need spiritual witches to handle them hoes. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it.
Okay. I'll watch you do it. Maybe I'll just be your prayer warrior. I'll keep you prayed up so that the evil spirits, when you conjuring your different things that you're doing, the evil spirits can't get you because I've covered you in prayer.
I appreciate that. But I'm not going to be conjuring. I'm going to just use if someone was I need someone to help me feel healthy. I'm going to be yeah, here goes this eucalyptus and lavender. Heal yourself.
So you trying to be Dr. Sebi?
I mean, I like a witch better, but okay.
Whatever. Get it how you live, girl. Can we pause for just a second and just say how this doggone girl, Journey Smollett, has understood the assignment since birth?
Since birth, my G. I realized, I was like, she's been acting all my life. Like, literally all my life. 31 years. Like, come on. She's been doing it.
Homegirl is great.
Yes. Yo, speaking of Journey, so Eve, right?
Okay, yes.
Her sass in this movie is everything. Okay, first and foremost. And my favorite was so if you look up little Ingrid on YouTube, there's the actual scene of her going off about, I'm gonna push him out the window if I don't get out this house. And Cicely been in the goddamn bathroom for an hour. Yo, that entire and then she had the audacity, and I know he ain't working. Like, And then her aunt, well, before then, her aunt slapped her on the butt after she told Cicely to get out the goddamn bathroom. And she called her mom. She called everybody out. She called her mom out. She been in there stabbing herself in the kitchen. Show her your hands, mama. Girl, shut your ass up. And it got so bad that her Moselle had to tell her, if you get careless with your mama feelings again, I swear I'll do you harm. You understand?
So concerned about how many times this family threatened to kill each other.
Bruh, I was like,
is this foreshadowing? Because I know that I have fought with not so much my brother, but definitely my cousins a lot as a child. But I don't think that I've ever said, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, Eve ran out that damn house when Cicely ran after her, and she's
trying to kill me.
She really was. She had her hands wrapped around her throat. I mean, there were some parts where I was like, this is kind of funny, but mostly like, okay, what was I supposed to get from this movie? I'm not entirely sure. Okay.
No one knows. And I think that maybe that's why I was weird, because you know how I like closure. I like stories to be complete. I need to know what happens in the end. And the fact that we don't really, like, we just in the movie, not sure what happened, what didn't happen, what's going on. I don't like it.
It left me very uneasy. Then I realized my dislike for Megan Good started here in this movie.
You still, like, currently to this day have a dislike for Megan Good? She hasn't redeemed herself in any way yet? No. Okay, I can tell by your face. All right.
No, because I was like, maybe in Stomp the Yard, but she took my boyfriend Columbus short. So, I mean, he's crazy, whatever. But
okay.
Yeah, I didn't like it. So what were some of your favorite quotes from the movie?
Get out of the damn tub! You watch your language, young lady.
Absolutely one of the best. I told you, that's like the best scene.
She got a lot more than a little pop on the butt. Like, that was like a pat. That was like, okay, get out of here. Yeah, I've never cursed in my family home, and it, went that smoothly. But aside from that,
never.
One thing that scared the crap out of me was when Diane Carroll had the white face on, and Eve tried to steal the fruit, and she was like, "Bad girl." I was like, "Okay, that's scary. I don't like it. Put the fruit back."
And she called a pineapple thief. What do you want, pineapple thief? I swear I just want to name someone a pineapple thief now, just because.
Do it. What about you? What were your favorite quotes?
I think more so just, Eve going in, telling her mama off. And then when Lewis comes, Samuel L. Jackson, By the way, Bentley does not like Samuel L. Jackson. He barked at him.
Bentley is her dog, guys.
Oh yes, Bentley is my dog. Anyway, so Lewis walks in, and Cicely comes and is like, "Look, they're talking about you. You have to go down to the town, whatever." And he walks in, opens the door. He was like, "Who? Them? They always mad." Like that was some real G shit. Like, oh, them?
Yo, Lewis, he was so player with his, and then he's supposed to be from the Bayou, so he had that little country accent with it too. Yeah, they always mad.
Yeah. And they just sat there like, "Ooh, we can't,
nigga, because we can't stand your ass."
Exactly.
You always out here fucking up.
And like, I think his mom even like said, like at the beginning, when they're at the party, how like all these women are just so in love with him because he's, the doctor, and it's like, it's a gift and a curse because he think he can't do no harm. I mean, he can't do no harm. So yeah, interesting. I want to
looking at Maddie Moreau like, you better get your ass out my face, little girl. Right. She was so mad at that. His mom was so mad at that party. Like,
I'm gonna knock her out.
If you don't get your stank ass off my son,
right?
While you and your husband was just grinding on the dance floor. Now you all in my son's face. But they ain't the lonely type. So,
girl, Eve,
when she said that, I said, "Ooh,
little girl." Ooh.
I don't think I was that smart at that age. I mean, I'd have been like, "I saw my daddy kissing your wife." I don't think if I could have been like,
I couldn't have had the words to eloquently tell you, low key, my daddy fucking your woman.
Yeah, like, I couldn't have planted that seed so neatly. Because she planted that seed, covered it up, patted it up, and walked away.
Right? She probably sprinkled a little water. She watered that bitch too. Like, damn.
Fertilized and everything.
But she wanted her dad dead, but I think she also got confused about how she wanted to do it. Because like in her mind, voodoo was a doll.
Mm-hmm.
So when she found out that her dad was in the snake grave, in the mouth of a snake.
I think there too was a little bit of control that she wanted over it. Like with the doll, it would have been slow. It would have been painful. It would have been her doing. There might have been the chance where I get the doll, I make him hurt to a place where I feel comfortable, and then I'm done with it until I need it again. I don't know if she really like understood. Like, no, dead. You told this lady you wanted him dead.
Right. And she ain't no regular witch. Like, she was really full-blown cat bones witch.
And then I was to the point, I was like, okay, so I think it was like Elzora was her name, her witch name.
Oh, yeah.
She, like, did she really even cast a spell? Like, was this the doing of her? Because, like, dude, Jai was sleeping with dude's wife. So, like, that could have happened anyway. And, like, because the way that she was laughing at Eve and, like, are you sure this is what you want? Are you sure this is what you want?
For certain. You are sure.
I was wondering, like, did she even really cast the spell and just told Eve that? Like, I was, the whole movie, I just need some closure. I need answers.
I know. I feel the same way because, like you said, when Eve came to her, it was like she kind of had a smirk, like, I don't think
pineapple thief,
bad
little girl.
Right? She took that $20 real quick when she come to my office.
That's why I was like, she didn't cast the spell. She just took that little girl money.
That's what I'm saying. I do feel like that. But then, when you listen to the beginning of the movie and it's this grown woman who adamantly believes that she killed her father. And I think also it goes into that whole intentional thing. Like when you go in with an intention to do something or have, intentions on getting something, it's powerful. And I think that she really felt angry and felt for her sister so strongly that she had the intentions of killing her father. So she took on that responsibility of his death more than I think she should have.
I want him dead. More
Fully, completely agree. And I think, especially at that age, perception is reality. For a very long time, I believed that I had superpowers. to this day, you catch me on the right day, I do have superpowers because there have been unexplainable instances that have occurred. One time, my mom was just talking wild on the street and I didn't want to walk no more. We didn't have a car at the time. So, it's the city. So we just walking. And I've got to the point where I said, I'm not walking no more. I'm done. And she was like, I'm not picking you up. Come on. And I said, I'm tired. And so she really tried to leave me. A whole tree branch fell on her. Not no little like a twig, it just fell out of the tree. No, a whole tree branch fell out of the tree.
Because your little ass didn't want to walk no more.
Because I have powers. And so I just feel like
okay, Matilda.
At that age, perception is reality. So even if she didn't, she was willing to take that on, she might fully even really believe that and wear that on her. And I think going forward, I feel like, especially with instances like this movie was even had special accolades and was inducted into the National Film Registry because of its cultural representation, its cultural importance, and speaking about the Bayou, speaking about voodoo in a very different way than a lot of films had ever done in the past. There was always a negative connotation, where this one kind of showed more of a lifestyle and how it integrates into people's lives. And so I feel like culture is very important. And I feel that spirituality is very important. All of those things are very important, especially when you are assessing for mental health issues. And if you are getting a client and they say, oh, I killed my father, like you would have to ask questions. But I think a lot of people would just target on, okay, you have to, that's not how that happened. You don't have to wear that responsibility. Let's reframe the way that we look at this situation. But for her, that voodoo was a part of her spirituality. And so if she felt like she cast that, like she was a part of having that, I don't want to say spell, because then it does go back to witchcraft. And this is more so voodoo.
Call it a gift.
The practice, whether she did ask for that practice to happen, her having that, it ties to her spirituality. And so you're trying to break her from something that is one of her supports. And I just could see that working out negatively.
Right. And, Eve has a gift. She has the ability, and I think that's why she took to her aunt so much, Moselle, even when she tries to read her sister to understand what happened. Tell me what happened. And Cicely was so confused as to what really occurred that both of them had a hard time really seeing what happened. But yeah, I agree with you that, if we don't approach working with certain clients to include their spirituality and some of their gifts, I really do believe that there are people who have gifts of visions.
I agree.
And like you said, I find it interesting because there was a polar difference between Elzora and then Mademoiselle. And so it's like, here is Elzora being like a tourist, a spectacle, if you will, with the whole mask and cat bones and everything. And then Moselle is at her home and, with the crystal ball and, giving out little trinkets to make people think that they're going to have a protection spell for themselves. But yet and still, it's the same thing. It's just that
I don't know. I feel like it can be very different because I feel like Elzora had the practices and she had the knowledge of voodoo, where Moselle had more of the gift of sight.
Oh, I see.
I think she dibbled and dabbled in voodoo a little bit, like with giving the one lady the talisman to keep this towards your skin and it'll heal your ailments. I think she dabbled in it a little bit. But I think she had the gift of sight, where Elzora, I don't believe, had that same sight. She just used the voodoo practices to read people and to do different things. Because when she was like, look towards your children, that was from the bones and that was from the different things that she was using and manipulating. That wasn't from like, give me your hands, let me read you.
Well, Elzora, when Moselle wanted to get her reading done after, right? Elzora said,
some things are better left unsaid.
And that's another one of my favorite quotes. She said,
I paid you $1, old woman. Not tell my fortune.
And so she told her,
I was like, she was rude. I wouldn't have told her nothing either.
She said,
I don't need no cat bones to tell your fortune, Mademoiselle Baptiste. You are a curse. The Black Widow.
remember, she didn't even have to use the cat bones for that. She already knew that. But I mean, is
Child,
that
the tower was
common
this
knowledge?
big. I was about to say that.
She went through 3 men. The dopest part, as far as like film wise, was the mirror scene.
Oh my goodness.
My goodness. Like, even talking about it now, it gives me chills because it was just so deep how she told this story of this
and then
love
stepped
triangle
into it.
and stepped into it. You know, oh my gosh. It was just, that was pure art. Mwah. Beautiful.
Yes,
Chef's kiss.
all a testament to our director and how awesome she was. And Miss Lemons, I just appreciate her and her because I feel like you have to see that. Like, that's just not just an idea that you have. I feel like you have to see that in your head to be able to make that, orchestrate that the way that it was. And that's just great cinematography. The Oscars be slacking, bruh. Like, what they be doing?
We just need to have our own, man, our own award ceremony for all the great movies. But yeah, so I actually was gonna look at a V code. It talks about spiritual distress or religious distress. It's problems related to other psychosocial, personal, environmental circumstances. And so it's V code V62.89, religious or spiritual problems. And so for Moselle, I couldn't give her necessarily a diagnosis for her lack of being able to stay in relationships, or like not stay in relationships, or her
keep her man alive.
Keep your man alive. So I was like, and then again, you say, you don't want to diagnose it like with schizophrenia or any of those types of disorders, because it's but they will because of the hallucinations, if you will, or delusions or whatever, because there's no other way to categorize her gift. So for me, that's what I would say, and that. Because, I mean, again, there's no way to put a diagnosis for a curse. So that's what I'm just going to put: a religious and spiritual problem. Your problem is that you're cursed. So that's what I have for Moselle.
Yes, I completely agree with you. I looked at it, I think, from a different lens. And I think that I liked having Moselle and having her brother as a doctor, because he's looking at it from Western medicine, looking at it from this viewpoint. And then he's like, Moselle a little crazy. Like, yeah, we let her do this because, you gotta keep her busy, but she a little crazy. Because he's looking at it from a Western point of view. He studies Western medicine. Like, this is his practice. He's a doctor. He's well-renowned in the community, all of these things. So that's how he's going to look at it. And then having Moselle, where she's like, I know they say I'm crazy, but I can see things that they don't see. And where normally, like, because it's not there, but for her, no, she actually has the gift of sight, and she has the ability where some people don't have that, and so they can't see with the things that she sees. And so I kind of looked at it from the both standpoint, and I kind of wanted to say, like, I feel like if she were to come in, or if her brother was to recommend her to somebody, that she would be diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, but the bipolar type with catatonia, because sometimes she would freeze up when she read people. So I would be like, they would call that a kind of catatonic state, because she does have these times where she's grieving husbands. I feel like they would make that the bipolar type. And so they would be like, oh, this is the depression. She's reading people. That's the mania. I feel like that would be the route that they would kind of go. And to give the criteria for schizoaffective disorder out of the DSM, it's an uninterrupted period of illness during which there is a major mood episode. The delusions or hallucinations for 2 or more weeks in absence of a major mood episode during the lifetime duration of the illness. The symptoms that meet the criteria for a major mood episode are present for the majority of the total duration of the active and residual portions of the illness, and the disturbance is not attributable to the effects of a substance. And so I felt like they would say, you know, like multiple episodes, and that she might be currently in an acute episode because she is actively reading again, where she had took a break, you know, when her husband had first died. But I feel like that would be we're admitting her, we're looking at this from a clinical aspect without considerations of culture. But I feel like without the visions, if we like took that out, I would just more so be looking at the complex grief and bereavement. This woman lost 3 husbands. Like that, I can't imagine. Right. And so like, that would be some of the focus. Like, I know that, and most importantly, in working with her, because she does have these visions, because she does dabble a little bit in voodoo practices, my biggest thing would be trying to find her some type of spiritual support and guidance, like someone who is more knowledgeable, because it seems like she knows the power that she has, but she doesn't always have the ability to either see things fully or control when and how she sees them. And so like I would be wanting to recommend to someone like that, or even someone that could potentially remove the curse, because like, I feel like if she didn't have the curse at all, she wouldn't be going through the mood disorders the same way.
Julian is here. He removed the curse.
Julian and his gray lace front just disturbed me to all end. And I just feel like the movie ended before Julian got his hair caught in a motherfucking ceiling fan or something and died.
Oh my gosh. Not his lace front. That lace
girl,
front was laid.
You cannot tell me.
That lace front was laid.
That his wet and wavy when he walked through that door through the rain.
Girl, I was like, okay.
But I would be concerned also about her experiences with infidelity, and if she would be able to be loyal and not cheat in her relationship with Julian, because it was such an issue in the past. And she referenced several times, hey, me and your daddy ain't that different now. You know, I dibbles and dabbles my damn self. Throwing her player card out there. And so I would want to make sure that, you know, that is an issue that she still is struggling with as well, because we don't want another man to die because you out here thotting and bopping.
Facts. You know what I thought about when you mentioned like the 2 of them as siblings? It was like, first of all, the reason why Eve even has her name is because that is what the Bayou is named after, which is her great grandmother. I'm assuming
she down the line somewhere, but they said they was the descendants. Yeah,
right. And so she got the gift also, being a part of the descendant, and so it's like in some ways it kind of kept them in that family line of, you know, of this ability. Mm-hmm. But then it's so interesting that how he kind of went the other way and went into medicine outside of it. Like she stayed true to who and what the family was. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna do medicine. I don't believe in this. Y'all crazy. It's really interesting.
But their mother didn't seem like she did either.
Big fact. So maybe the dad was the one that was like, yeah.
Maybe it skips the generation. I don't know how this works, child. I ain't got the gift.
I used to. Well, I have dreams. I will have dreams, and sometimes it's like, it's not specific, like, oh yeah, this person's gonna be harmed or this is gonna happen. It's like an indicator that something needs to happen or needs to be said to someone. So like that's how I know, okay, let me call or text someone because I've had a dream about you. So clearly there's something happening. I need to reach out. So that's what I call a vision. I'm gifted. What can I say?
But I think that's a natural thing where if you are told that this practice is bad for long enough, you're going to try to go the opposite way from it. And while it could just take one, you know, family member in there to interject and be like, this is not what we're doing. We're making shoes like in Coco.
Right. And then you just go off. But how many times has that happened in the Black culture, you know, as far as things that we know work and have been, you know, effective for us that, you know, we're seen as demonic or not of Christ. And so we don't even practice them. But, you know, even, I mean, crystals and, you know, farming and using herbs, has always been a part of our culture, but we just kind of move away from it because we were told it was wrong. Not of Christ.
That's what you happen. You listen to you let the white man write your Bible and give it to you.
That what had happened. So, no, whatever. So, what did you give her brother, Luis?
Actually, I really didn't give him a full diagnosis at all. I just kind of felt like even he mentioned, like alluded to it, that he was compensating for staying at home and pushing aspirin to elderly as opposed to going to the big city and being a big time surgeon. And so he was compensating that by having the affairs. Like it made him feel more important. It made him feel good. It boosted him up by, messing with all of the women's in the town. Just nasty. I hope he prescribing himself some penicillin. Some antibiotics, some something, keep that at bay. But if he was my client, of course, we would want to target those issues. I think I would do like a little bit of psychoanalytic with him, working through some id, ego, super ego type things, get into
Yep. Tap into that.
Into the underlying root of where this all comes from and why we're doing this. Because I think maybe if we had a little bit more insight, he's an affluent man. He has a certain level of cognitive ability where with a little bit more insight, possibly he could have some changed behaviors. Why? What you diagnosing with? Tell me.
I'm gonna say histrionic. And so
let me clear my throat.
So honestly, the DSM doesn't have anything for whole tendencies. So I felt like histrionic was the closest one. I'm sorry if you're diagnosed with histrionic personality disorder. I just
not whole tendencies.
My bad. So one of the criteria, you have to have 5 out of 8. So I feel like I might be wrong with this because
he might not meet full.
He does.
So let's run through it. Let's work through it together.
All right. So 1 is uncomfortable in situations in which he or she is not center of attention. So I think about the party. I don't really feel like he sees himself as having to be someone that's the center of attention. It was his party.
I mean, and he had his hoes there. He had to keep everybody happy. He was spinning plates. You gotta give this one some attention, show the kids, get this to make this one smile, make this one happy, talk to the husband a little bit so he don't think I'm fucking his wife, and then, kiss your mama on the cheek. That's a lot of work, child. That's a lot of work.
And then fight the brother-in-law, Harry, who later dies.
Yeah, don't let Harry drive home drunk. You gotta whoop his ass a little bit.
Which he didn't drive. Moselle drove. So I'm like, how did he die? And then you see the car lights, the brake lights. I'm sorry, I digress.
I mean, maybe they got hit on his side.
It would be his side. It would be his side, right?
Like on Daddy's Little Girls, where we having this conversation, then just putting this on his side.
That's dope, man. So then number 2 is interaction with others is often categorized by inappropriate sexual, seductive, or provocative behavior. It makes me think about the scene when he's at that lady house listening to her heart.
I sick.
Doctor, could you give me something for the pain?
What pain is that, Stevie?
He hurts on the inside.
Eve, go outside and play. What's wrong with her, daddy? So then 3 displays rapidly shifting and shallow expression of emotions. So this makes me think about when Eve called him out and was like, so do you want other children? And he gave her that real quick, do you want to die today? Again, one of those those threatening moments. In
parent looks.
Right. Displays consistently uses physical appearance to draw attention to self. I don't think he did that.
Me neither. He's just fine to their standards.
Now this here has a style of speech that is excessively impressionistic and lacking in detail.
You had to say it in his accent?
Yes. Yes, I did. So I mean that might count. I don't know. He was acting. Shows self-dramatization, theatricality, and exaggerated expression of emotion.
Nah.
Is suggestible, easily influenced by others or circumstances? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
And then
he wanted to mess with them women.
Right.
They didn't trick him into it.
Not a thing. So considers relationships to be more intimate than they actually are. And I don't think that was the case for him.
No, he knew them hoes was hoes and
Roz was the main. Right. So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe I can't give him histrionic personality disorders. But friends, please do not diagnose the hoe characters with histrionic disorder.
No, you know how I feel. Being a hoe, hey, sometimes you got to stand up in your hoe. It is not a diagnosable disorder. Ain't nothing wrong with you for being a hoe, long as you know that you a hoe and you are upfront with your wholeness.
And you are honest hoe. Right?
Be an honest hoe, because honest hoes love the Lord.
So
new merch coming. Honest hoes love the Lord.
Hey. Anywho.
So we got the Lewis together, got him wrapped up and together. What did you think about the mama?
Yo, so a part of me was like, maybe it's like a compulsive disorder, because I don't know as far as like the cutting. Mm-hmm. But again, that wasn't necessarily the biggest thing that stood out for me until Eve pointed it out.
Mommy keeps stabbing herself in the kitchen. Show her your hands, Mama.
But I would give her major depressive disorder.
Really?
Yeah, and I gave her the V code V61.10 because of the relationship distress. But that's it. I mean, she was depressed. And she was depressed, and she knew what was happening.
Yeah.
And it affected her mood. It made her anxious. So that's why she was so quick to listen to Moselle about, her vision. I felt like maybe it wasn't necessarily a loss of interest in or pleasure, but she was in a depressed mood most of the day because your man is not home, and he out there being a thought. What's your move?
A professional thought. He was getting paid for his services, though.
Listen, he said, "Close the door. I'm gonna give her some vitamin D." Ooh. So, but I honestly, again, I don't feel like there's enough of the criteria for her. But then, after her husband dies, definitely major depressive disorder, because she lost a significant other.
But was it full on? If she already had that, then it wouldn't be after you couldn't diagnose it because of the death. Like if she didn't have it before and she had it after, like you couldn't diagnose it because of the death, it would just be bereavement.
Yeah. So if that's the case, okay, so for the diagnostic criteria, you need 5 or more of the following symptoms. I'm not going to read all of them because there's a ton of them. But what I'm looking at, it's like the only thing is like, depressed mood most of the day, nearly every day. Markedly diminished interest or pleasure in all or most activities. I don't know what her activities were, so it's hard to tell. Honestly, it's hard to tell. I don't know. What do you think?
So I went in a completely different direction. I still wanted to go through it with you, though, because I was stuck between 2 different ones. Mm-hmm. She reminded me very much so as a chocolate-covered Stepford wife, like an actually cute Stepford wife. Because in that movie, all them chicks was ugly, and I was like, how y'all think y'all perfect and y'all all ugly? But Lynn Whitfield in real life, like, is perfection. The woman is beautiful, so she could be a Stepford wife. Yeah. But neither here nor there. I was stuck really between whether it was obsessive compulsive personality disorder, which is a pattern of preoccupation with orderliness, perfectionism, and control, and panic disorder. So the cutting herself and things like that were the result of her trying to blind her evidence of her cheating husband in order to be like a good wife. And so some of that panic was resulting in her accidentally cutting herself.
I like the first one.
The obsessive compulsive personality disorder.
Yes, because she definitely gives me the perfectionist vibes. Like, I have like the kids had to be well done. The house had to be kept clean. I don't know. I feel like that one fits it.
Okay, so let me go through the criteria for that. The person is preoccupied with details, rules, lists, order, organization, or schedules to the extent that the major point of the activity is lost. Shows perfectionism that interferes with task completion. Is excessively devoted to work and productivity to the exclusion of leisure activities and friendships. Is overconscientious, scrupulous, and inflexible about matters of morality, ethics, or values. Is unable to discard worn out or worthless objects, even when they have no sentimental value. I don't think that one so much, but I'll keep going. Shows rigidity and stubbornness. I mean, she did keep her kids in the house for a whole summer. I think we'll go OCPD, obsessive compulsive personality disorder. And it wasn't even like, it was just the anxiousness that came with that, it was resulting in. It wasn't even like a purposeful self-harm activity as much as it was like, it's too much. I can't do it. So
that's what it literally means when they say my nerves bad. What does that mean? You got bad nerves? What? No, my nerves bad. I can't keep my hand straight. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely and just that trying to have that ideal image of being a good wife, and her kind of expressing that even before, like when I fell in love with him, I gave up my whole life, like because I thought that was what I needed to do, type thing. Mm-hmm. And like everything is still shit. Like I shouldn't still feel like this type way. And damn, that's a tough spot to be in. If she was my client, I'm thinking maybe reality therapy, kind of looking at what your wants are. What are you actively doing to like get there at this point? What are the behaviors that need to be put in place or changed to try to get you there? And really some like grounding and mindfulness like skills to get you back into the here and now, get you to be able to calm down in those moments where that obsessive compulsiveness kind of takes over, and it is resulting like in the cutting and different things like that, trying to get you to be able to self-regulate and get to a place where you can function clearly and not from a place of like cloudiness and just frantic. So, and I want her Taylor because her dresses, every single dress, perfection.
It was fly.
But I was just disappointed that we had a movie with Lynn Whitfield and Diane Carroll, and they didn't play mama daughter. Like they should play mother daughter.
Oh, they could have definitely played mother daughter.
There should have been a film where they play mother and daughter. If somebody knows a film that I don't know of where they play mother and daughter, please let me know, because it needed to happen. some casting director dropped the ball on that.
I have a theory, and it's, I've never been a fan of Sigmund Freud. But it's about
the cokehead. You know how I feel about him. Some of the stuff can be used, but you know how I feel about him as a person. Bruh,
he was trash.
Clean up, Kokor.
I mean, this is why I think a lot of people really lost a lot of respect for him at some point. I mean, Alfred Adler was one of those individuals, Carl Jung. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of Cicely. And I wanted to find a way to understand or diagnose her relationship with her father. So, of course, what came to mind was Sigmund Freud's...
The Ophelia complex?
Yes, basically. Ophelia complex.
But no, I definitely agree. Like that is, as soon as I saw this movie again, watching this, I was like, oh, she got Ophelia bad.
Right? But then Carl Jung, he was like, I'm sorry, Freud, it's not just about boys. But Freud, I felt like developed the psychodynamics as far as it's related to himself. So it was hard for him to look and see other beings or even another gender, when talking about, that stuff. So anyway, Carl Jung says, okay, I think I like the Electra complex better, which I feel like is a little better. But basically, they're saying that initially the girl has the attraction to her mother. And then when she realizes she doesn't have a penis, she experiences penis envy. Whatever. Then blames her mother for her castration. Again, I don't know how they developed and came up with this shit back then, but it doesn't make sense to me now. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. So basically, the Electra complex is what I feel Cicely is dealing with. She becomes hostile with her mother and is fixated on her father. Focused all her attention on the father. He could do no wrong. She even convinces Eve that what she saw him and Maddie doing was not right. She changes the narrative for the sake of her father being the hero still. Even when she saw that the mother and the sister was upset, her grandmother and her mother were upset, she told him, go run, go, they're mad at you. You know, she wanted to protect him. And so I think the one disorder that I would give her would be acute stress disorder based off of the interaction with her father. She doesn't remember or recall it correctly. She just knows that she was hurt by her hero. She was hurt by her father. And it affected her mood. She had a negative mood. She had dissociative symptoms as far as not wanting to be around people, not wanting to eat. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. This Electra complex and also acute stress disorder, because this man has never put his hands on her, and to smack her on her face and she falls down, it's like her world ended. You know, her hero was no longer her hero.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it in that way. I think I didn't, and that's because we don't know what happened. I need closure. I need the facts.
Right?
I got to know, because like this response is not healthy, but I want to say it's a response that you can expect from someone if a parent did try to, if anyone had done something in an inappropriate manner with them. You can expect them to like, those are the kind of the warning signs that you look for of that type of inappropriateness with children. You look for them to either stop eating or start eating. Their eating patterns change, their sleeping patterns change, like all of those things. And so had that necessarily been the case, but then if you kind of look at it, she kind of was acting weird before that moment even really happened. And so
she did get her hair cut.
Yeah, she was kind of tripping. And then I attributed even the haircut a little bit to the Ophelia complex, where you have that desire for the opposite sex. And so her cutting her hair, she almost cut her hair kind of look more like her mom. And so I was like, oh, okay, this is a little off. But the one thing that I did diagnose her with, and I guess I'm kind of looking at it more from like a medical space, I guess even how I would want to work with her, is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. And so we do see that she does get her cycle for the first time. And then I feel like, and this may be influenced from everyone else's kind of reaction, like, oh, this is why you've been being so weird. This is why you was in the bathroom for all of them hours in the goddamn tub. But the criteria for that is the majority this one was her first one. So looking at 5 symptoms where we have marked affective liability, which means liability, not liability. Sorry, guys, she's not car insurance. But looking at mood swings, feeling suddenly sad or tearful, or increased sensitivity to rejection, which could have been the sensitivity to rejection with the kiss with the dad.
Yes.
Where else did it go? Marked irritability or anger, or increased interpersonal conflicts. Yep, where she tried to kill her. Marked depressed mood, feelings of hopelessness or self-deprecating thoughts. Marked anxiety, tensions, and or feelings of being keyed up on edge. And then we have a sense of being overwhelmed or out of control, where she was like, maybe I do need to go. Like when they asked her, like, do you think you need to go away? She was, yes, maybe I do. I don't know what's going on type thing. And then the symptoms are not associated with clinically significant distress or interference with work, school, or usual activities. And it's not an exacerbation of symptoms of another disorder. So yeah, that's kind of where I went with it. And then I think I might want to do like some expressive therapies with her if she was my client, because I feel like, girl, you got to get some of this out. There's a lot going on inside you, and we need to get some of this out. Right. And then also, especially with her age, I would want to have them talk to either the pediatrician, or now that she's getting her cycle, the OBGYN. And see, with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, like, is the things that she's experiencing normal? Are there certain hormonal therapies that are better suited to treat what she's experiencing? Like, can we get her hormones regulated so that this isn't necessarily something that we attack from a psychological aspect, but more from a medical standpoint? Just trying to make sure that we cover all of the bases, and if it needs to happen in hand in hand. I don't know. My mind just went blank for a second, but if the two therapies need to happen at the same time.
Simultaneously.
Yes, that's what I mean. Simultaneously with one another, then we could do that as well. Especially, I would also like to do a little bit of family therapy, dealing with her in this issue, because we need to kind of work out that systems here, because they're askew inside her mind.
I feel like that diagnosis explains what happened, you know? And so her overreacting to her father just saying no, you know, and it might have been a little aggressive, you know, but it's just like, no, like, who do you think you are?
I'm drinking you kissing the coffee.
Right, like, okay, like, I feel like that would be any adult response to a kid coming at you like that. What the hell is wrong with you? You know? And so it's late. I'm already, what? You look like your mama. I'm confused.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't feel too bad about that situation, but that makes sense. And so that's probably why when Eve tries to read her and go there with her, she's unable to see anything as well. And she was confused. She's like, I don't know what happened.
And I think because that perception, that skew of perception really has her to the point where she really doesn't. She's sensitive to that rejection. So the perception is reality, especially at that age. So it clouds everything.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And the amount of anger she felt towards him, to the fact that she had to tell her sister that this is what happened. And Eve is a thug. She's like, you did what to my sister? You know,
I'm going to kill him.
She meant it.
Yeah, she did.
Definitely meant it. You know, she went down there and was
said, "I'll ride for mine."
Okay, give me a voodoo doll, and was practicing on the monkey. She was ready. So, speaking of Eve, you know, it was hard for me again to give that diagnosis, but I'm thinking post dad, like, so dad. You know, she saw that, you know, and so automatically I'm going to post-traumatic stress disorder because she saw her father get shot. And then also dealing with the guilt and shame of the feelings that she had towards him and the desire for him to be harmed. So that's kind of where I'm at with the post-traumatic stress disorder. What are your thoughts for Eve?
I think because it like kind of abruptly ends right after he dies. We don't know kind of her reaction. We just know that as a grown woman, she still believes that she killed that nigga. So I kind of looked beforehand, and I did with her what I did more so with Moselle, and looked at how they would look at her from a Western medicine standpoint, and then looked at how they would look at her considering cultural and spiritual considerations. I think that she would unfortunately be diagnosed with schizophreniform disorder, where she is experiencing hallucinations, and also with the the catatonic behavior, because she also kind of freezes up when she's reading people as well, what we see when she does with her sister. And then the disorder lasts at least for 1 month, but less than 6 months, because she is just starting out with having the experiences. I think it started with Uncle Harry passing, her seeing his death. When the diagnosis must be made without waiting for recovery, it should be qualified as provisional. And so I think that she has good prognostic features, though, because I felt like she doesn't have any like she has some levels of like confusion, but it's more so because these things are first coming on. It seems, I think that her prognosis would be positive, like once she gets a better handling and understanding of what the gift is, how to use it, how to, I guess, practice voodoo in a healthy way. Like maybe they need to get away from or stick with voodoo and less hoodoo. I'm thinking that's what the issue was. I'm wondering if Moselle was more voodoo and Elzora was more hoodoo. Because isn't one supposed to be more like white magic and one is supposed to be more like black magic? One is done for positive and healing and the other one is done for more negative.
I just learned this something today. You learned me something.
I think that's what I learned in New Orleans when they explained it to me. Or I think that there is positive and negative in both. So what they said is that just more generally, that's how they explain it to people, but that there is more positive and negative in both, and that some people ascribe to one, the other, and some both. But it depends on, like you were saying before, the intention and where they're operating from, and how they use that to impact the world around them. So you can use either or. And then one lady who I had talked to she practices, and she kind of was like, really, any good person who is really versed in this realm pretty much needs to know both, because if you are going to be combating darkness, you need to know it. Like, yes, you can fight it with light, but you need to know the darkness in order to be able to fight it effectively. And I was like, ooh, Chad, I mean, you know some shit. All right, it's time for us to go.
Okay, she went through some things.
But I definitely feel like they would continue to assess for like the severity. And then they would I hope that they would not put her on any antipsychotic meds because she's a child. But I have seen quite a few children, unfortunately, that were on, well, some of them needed it, child. Let me take back that, unfortunately. Some of them needed it. But I have seen children on psychotropic meds before, or antipsychotics, rather. But again, with her, it would be more education. It would be grounding techniques that I would want to do. Grounded techniques, education, and again, spiritual guidance. She needs to learn how to use this gift so that one, it doesn't scare her, it doesn't terrify her, and she learns how to grow within it and use it and control it in her everyday, because you don't always want to have visions. I think without the visions, I will only like you said, maybe adjustment disorder for seeing the father cheating, her sister leaving, and then her father dying. But her those stressors preceded the symptoms. So like we would want to handle those things. There were lots of things happening right back to back. So I think I'd probably just go adjustment just for billing purposes, because I got to get paid, child. But I think that they would diagnose her with schizophreniform disorder, which as she would grow older, if the symptoms did continue, they might fully develop into schizophrenia. But that wouldn't be my diagnosis.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like you definitely brought the schizophrenia. I was trying to stay away from it culturally. That's where I was coming
from. But I want to
be
real. I want to let everybody know, like, if you go to these people and they don't understand, they don't assess, they don't listen to you, they don't take your who you are as a person into consideration, these are the diagnoses that they're going to try to give you. And so part of this show is the education for you, as well as the entertainment, and letting people know, like, this is how you advocate yourself for yourself and for your family and for your friends and for the people that you know. Like, if you have these visions, you tell them, no, it's not that I'm hearing voices that aren't there. This is spiritually something that is a gift that my family practices it, like, this is something separate, because they will try to med you up. They will try to label you with these heavy diagnoses. They will try all of these different, don't let them do it unless it's necessary. Now, if you see that, I see the purple people and they come in to get me, and don't nobody else see the purple people and I'm scared, get your meds. But if you are having visions that are coming true, and like it's the realities are in some way coming to where they collide and they match and they align, that is something that, again, needs further consideration. And that's why I feel like it's very important for practitioners to also be engaged in their community and know who to refer these people to, so that if you are you can't always necessarily assess whether this is a spiritual something or if this is them having some type of psychosis. That's when you pull in your people, you call them up, they meet with them, and they say, okay, yeah, this is blah, 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 blah. Or no, they might need to come back to you and y'all work on, the mental side of that. But I feel like it's very important for therapists to have that prior knowledge, at least to know, to be able to discern a little bit to see when this might need to go, a referral to some supplemental services, some adjunct services, and not just me. But yeah, I'm sorry I went on a tangent.
It's okay, girl. Tell the people what we need to hear.
Right? I don't play when it comes to spirituality. They gonna put some respect on your traditions, your customs, and who you are as a person. But yeah, I think, Dad dead, so he don't got no prognosis. Moselle, her and her lace front man is good. So if, like you said, he might have broke the spell. She gonna spend a hell of a lot of money keeping his hair done. But other than that, I guess he was Creole too. So other than that, I guess they good. And Elzora told the mother that she was gonna be all right in 2 years. You'll be over that nigga in 2 years.
Sound about right.
Yeah, everything is gonna be all right. He gonna die, and then you gonna be okay, girl. I don't have nothing else to say.
Me either. I guess we good then.
So if you would like to help us celebrate our 1 year anniversary, you can go get some merch, right? Buy something off the website. Show us that, you with us. You've been riding with us for this year through the pandemic, because we definitely created a whole podcast without being in the same room as each other. I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us too, damn it. Shoot, get you a tote and a face mask, because the Delta.
A pill or something. Because you're going to be at home. Oh, we getting locked back up. Okay. But aside from buying merch, if you would like to support the show to help us get more content out to you all, you can visit our website and follow the support the show link to become a Patreon member or donate on our Cash App. Now, we're happy to get the kind of money that jingles, but we'd rather the kind that folds. As always, be sure to follow us on Instagram at the DSM Podcast, because we be posting. And you can subscribe to our show wherever you get podcasts. While you're there, go ahead and leave us a comment, because we are counselors and actually care about what you have to say. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
Okay, bye.